After the Bucano books, which the last one was in 1949, there was quite a gap in much pop-up action. And the next one that I've got to show you is from 1950. This is called Beauty and the Beast by Roland Pym. Beautiful little book, very, very simple paper engineering. It's all based on parallel folds, which are tutorial 6. If we just look at it end on, you can see it has these 6 spreads, 6 scenes, each of which is made of 4 sheets with a fold in the middle. So we've got, this is the front one, then one a bit further back, third one, and the final one. And if we then look at it, I'll just tie it open and then we can go around and look at it simply. What I really like about this is the way incredible perspective is created. If we look at it like this, I'll just go through all 6 of them and you'll see how the sheets are cut away in very clever ways to give a really extraordinary sense of depth. Each scene has a different sort of tone to it. I just think it's a really beautiful piece of work. The next 2 books are from 1960. I don't know who the paper engineer was. These are 1960. They're all made with floating planes, which are tutorial 12, and parallelograms, tutorial 5. I just think the illustration in these is beautiful. They've got 2 spreads each. Here it is. And if we look at it end on, you can see the floating plane mechanism with the parallel fold in the middle and then the parallelograms coming out from it. And they have these crazy little pull tabs, very crude mechanisms, but the effects are very pleasing. That's the first one in this book. And then the other spread at the back, in this case. Pull the tab here and the thieves pop up out of the jars. And the other one in this series that I've got is Aladdin and His Magic Lamp from 1960. It's the same, it's floating planes and parallelograms. Beautiful artwork. Here's the tab and it brings this monster into view. So the next step forward was Wojtek Kubasta, working in Czechoslovakia. He did 2 types of books. He did these panoscopic models and he also did these children's stories. So I'll just run through these 3 panoscopic models first. This one is Christopher Columbus, 1960. So here it is, and this spread is an absolute classic. Christopher Columbus's ship. And if we look at the mechanisms, these are zigzag folds, which are tutorial 20. Here's a zigzag fold, here's another zigzag fold, both tutorial 20. And again, if we look at this is a zigzag fold with added parallelograms, that's tutorial 6, all fitted together with slots, that's tutorial 11. Lovely piece of design, this. And the second one I'd like to show you is 1961. This is called The Castle Tournament. Wojtek Kubasta again. And here it is. Amazing pop-up castle. Basically, the main mechanism is a V-fold. So this is a V-fold, which is powering the rest of it. Well, a lot of it. I like the illustration showing actually the inside of the castle, even though it's not in full colour like the front. It still just adds something to the whole design. If we look at it end on, you can see this is a second V-fold here, and this is a parallelogram joining the 2. Come round and look at it all, and these bits, these are asymmetric V-folds that are holding these 2 pieces. This piece here and this piece here. These are asymmetric V-folds, tutorial 4. These are just very straightforward little parallelograms coming off these planes here. The parallelograms are tutorial 5. So we've got these little moving mechanisms here, very simple, very basic. And we've got the same on the other side. And then this final bit, that's a symmetric parallel fold, tutorial 6. And the last one This is Marco Polo from 1962. And we open this one up. Quite an extraordinary pop-up, this. Really, really lovely piece of pop-up design. These at the back, these are Zig-zag Folds. They're a modification from what I explained in the tutorial. It's tutorial 20. This is a basic V-fold here, tutorial 2. It's cut in the form of an arch, which is covered in tutorial 34. This is extra creases, that's tutorial 7. There's a parallel fold, this piece jutting forward, that's tutorial 6. And there's also counterfolds, like this piece right in the back here is counterfold, that's tutorial 22. All held together with slots, that's tutorial 11. Highly complicated bit of pop-up design, but really amazing spread. Now we'll just have a look at Kubasta's fairy stories. There are literally dozens of these. This is Sleeping Beauty from 1961. All the mechanisms in all these books are Counterfolds tutorial 22. They usually have some interesting little moving parts that are very, very simple. So here we have the prince turns into the witch. And if we open it up, that same thing, we've got these windows all empty, and by pulling that strip, we get these 3 graces, or whatever they are. It's all counterfolds, so when the page is flat, everything else goes flat. They're all cut out of one piece of card. If you look at it end on, you'll see that the whole thing is actually, it's a concertina. It's just one long strip of card with all these very clever counterfolds cut out of them, giving you ordinary parallelograms, angle folds, and we just run through this. It's the castle. This has got another one you can pull, see what goes on. So I like the way this stained glass window turns into an owl. We have this, the witch here, turns into a stained glass window. Very simple bit of pull strip. And here we have another one. I don't think there's anything to move on that. And then this one. I don't think there's anything to move on that either. There are these heads that rock, but there's no pull strip to do it. You just have to do it with your finger. They're all nodding off to sleep. The very last spread is this one, and you can actually pull the tab, and the prince comes through the arch to give her a kiss. This is Sleeping Beauty from 1961. These very early Kubastas had 8 spreads. Later on they reduced them down to 6. So I'll just show you a few others. This is a French version, The Little Train. This is 1973. All made with counterfolds, the same as the previous book. Tutorial 22. Every spread in this one has some really simple movement in it. So in this one, the train does some interesting moves. Now this is a really good one. As you pull these little mice, we get some fantastic action there, drumming. Again, the actual mechanism is really, really simple, and so you actually have to hold it right or it starts going wrong. But yeah, I just think that's delightful, the way he drums. And the next spread. This one, yeah, there's nothing to actually move. These are just dangly bits. And the next one, this is a windmill. Again, it's, there's no pull strip or anything. It's just you can make it turn if you want. And the last one. So this from 1979. And then this is still Kubasta. Still the same technique, all made with counterfolds. This is Moon Rocket, this is 1986. And here's the first one. You press that and it launches the rocket. Number 2. This is tutorial 27, hubs and pivots. You've got a whole series of things changing here. You've got this reading on the computer changing. You've got this style changing. And you've also got places around the world. You've got Paris, Moscow, Beijing, Cologne, and Italy, New York. The other action on this spread is this. When you pull his head up and down, you get the arms on the robot moving. Again, it's a pretty cronky really, but this is what you pull and it moves the view out the porthole window. All these movements, they're quite fun, but they're pretty crude paper mechanics. This is made with slots, that's tutorial 11. All the rest is counterfolds, tutorial 22. Here's the next spread. You want to make the rocket go, you just lift it up. There's nothing clever about this. It's just a simple up and down. And then we've got this spread. This is the last spread. Just pull these up and again, that's all there is to it. So they're just very simple toys really. These are slots holding this, that's tutorial 11. All the rest is counterfolds, tutorial 22. If you make the book flat, the whole thing goes flat. It's all made out of one great big concertina with a lot of these counterfolds cut into it. This was Kubasta working in Czechoslovakia, and he inspired Waldo Hunt in California to start a company called Graphics International in 1965. And this is Chitty Chitty Bang Bang from 1968. And here is a really fantastic spread, beautiful car. This is all made basically with the box mechanism. This is tutorial 14, and if you look at it end on, you can see there's a pillar underneath that pushes the whole thing open. It then has parallel folds creating this, and the back. Parallel folds are tutorial 6, and then these are actually V-folds, tutorial 2, built into the gullies created by the car. And so I just think that's a rather beautiful spread, really. The paper engineer on all these, the next 3 books I'm showing you, they're all by Paul Taylor. And the second spread from this I want to show you. This is basically V-folds, tutorial 2, and this is the arch, tutorial 34. This, the way the lid of this box is made, that's the 45-degree fold, which is tutorial 23. There's actually a pillar underneath, which is parallel with one of these sides, that pushes the top of the box up to make it absolutely square. And this, of course, is just a parallelogram joining these two. And the next book, this is also designed by Paul Taylor. This is Dr. Dolittle from 1969. And the first spread I'd like to show you is this one. At the back, we have an M fold. That's tutorial 19. Raising parallelogram here, that's tutorial 5. The fish, this is a V-fold, tutorial 2. And the back of the fish, this is a parallel fold, raised by the V-fold. The parallel fold is tutorial 6. And both of them, this is added creases. And also down in here, this is added creases. So both of those are tutorial 7. And so it's a bit square and clunky, but I think it's a really good fish actually, and very nice bit of design. And the last one in this book is this one. The main piece of this one is obviously this pink snail. This is a curved shape, tutorial 13. Behind it we've got, this is an M fold. It's slightly adapted. I'll turn it round, you can see it. But basically it's an M fold, which is tutorial 19. And the way these pieces have been built onto this snail, this is the 45-degree fold, which is tutorial 23. As it closes, you can see in here, these are 45-degree angles. These are coming up at right angles to the main body of the snail. And then the last of these Graphics International books I've got, one of my favourites. This is from 1969, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, also designed by Paul Taylor. And the first spread is this fantastic boat. Based on the box mechanism, which is tutorial 14. If we look at it end on, you can see there's a pillar in the middle, which is pushing up the deck. and then these are coming up through slots, so that's tutorial 11. And the way this sail is added on, these are two 45-degree folds, that's tutorial 23. I just think this is a lovely bit of design. The unusual thing about this, a lot of boats, they just go straight down the middle, they follow the spine, that's the easy way to make them. And this has been made going across the spine, which is really unusual. So it is actually a box. Underneath here is actually a flat plane, so there's the three planes, one here, one on the spine, one at the back. That's giving you the box, and then the way the sides have been added on, that enables you to have the pointy prow at the front. And the next spread is this one. I think it's very effective, but it's very simple. It's all V-folds. V-folds here pointing this way, they fold down this way. These V-folds fold down this way. They're all in tutorial 2. And the joker is this one. This is an asymmetric V-fold. That's tutorial 4. This is unusual. This Graphics International used it quite often. It's a piece of wire that holds this piece up. So it gives you the effect of something just floating in space. And the last spread is this one. This is, here we have a zigzag fold. That's tutorial 20. This one is a pointed V-fold. That's tutorial 3. The spirals are tutorial 10. And the other thing here is this pull tab mechanism, giving you the Axeman hacking at the tentacles. That is tutorial 27, hubs and pivots. That's all the books I'm going to show you in this tutorial. But if you're interested in pop-up history, this book, The Art of Pop-Up, The Magical World of Three-Dimensional Books, this is the business. And if we go here, you can see it has got a really fantastic timeline. You can pull it out and you can see the way pop-ups have developed from the very beginning. You can concertina it all back in. If you're interested in pop-up history or other paper engineers, this is the book. You also have all sorts of stuff about other paper engineers, a lot of modern stuff as well as history, covers all sorts, a lot of really fantastic books in it, really excellent information. It's just a lovely book. I can't recommend it highly enough.